Research affects everyone, from scientists testing new theories about climate change, to a child learning how to read, to experimenting with new technologies. The work of research helps to shape our world and our experiences. But the world of research is changing. The world's problems are becoming increasingly complex, and so are the research tools required to solve them. This new paradigm forces us to think differently about how we gather and analyse data, how we visualise it, how we collaborate, and how we publish and share research. These changes in research are encompassed by eResearch, using information and communication technologies. Now, we certainly don't know exactly what the future of research looks like, but we can make some guesses about what's required when we examine what's happening with technology, data, and how researchers collaborate. Let's start with technology. The speed with which large volumes of research data can be shared and reused has increased dramatically. The development of high-speed networks now means that data, which previously took months to move, can now be transferred at the blink of an eye. Even larger data sets may not be readily movable, and researchers may use the internet to access them to perform analysis. The high cost of data storage may mean that it is preferable to reproduce the experiment rather than store large data sets. It isn't just the speed and volume of data transfer that has improved, it's what we can now do with this data. The development of multi-core and parallel computing methods has given researchers much more power to analyse, synchronise, and compare large data sets. Networks of computers are connected, allowing researchers to use them wherever they are. The efficiencies of scale available to service providers means researchers can access services for much lower cost than if they do it themselves. Researchers now have much more scope in how they choose to visualise patterns in their data. They can see and understand the patterns otherwise locked within large and complex repositories. It really is an incredible time to be a researcher. Not only has technology dramatically changed the speed with which data can be moved and viewed, but also there's so much more of it. Which brings me to the next clue about the future of research. A data explosion, which may typify the future of research and the magnitude of information which is already available. There are a few reasons why we have so much more data. The first reason is common sense. Over time, the research community has added to the data generated, and this data has been added to the existing repositories and archives, a considerable addition in itself. But in addition to this are the new ways in which data for research is generated. There's been a dramatic increase in the development of software and hardware that collects data automatically. A good example is the use of field sensors. Use of technologies like field sensors capture ever-increasingly large data sets. These large data sets are analysed for patterns not normally apparent in smaller scale observations. Another exciting trend is what some people are calling citizen science. Citizen science is developing as a powerful adjunct to research activities. Some community members and groups are actively involved with data sensors, gathering information and annotating the data. By combining data sets, other new and even more complex patterns in the data may also be discoverable. The data explosion is itself being transformed by the new ways researchers can communicate and collaborate with each other. Most people would now agree that the internet has transformed many of their day-to-day activities, and this also applies to the research community. Social networking has not only broadened the pool of potential collaborators, it has allowed research groups to work together beyond time zones, national borders, and even language differences. Not only can researchers communicate in real time, they can simultaneously use the same data sets in environments that store histories of their discussions and enable meaningful co-authoring and manipulation of data. Information communication technologies have, in a very real way, helped to empower a collective global research community. The changes brought by research technology, the data explosion, and new ways to collaborate have caused some to suggest we are in a new paradigm of research, a world of e-research. This new paradigm is applicable across all the disciplines. eResearch changes the social sciences just as much as the natural sciences. These changes are already evident. Perhaps the most revolutionary change in research is the building of virtual worlds. Worlds which model and simulate reality to enable us to predict what will happen in the real world. Furthermore, this modelling can happen many times faster than the real world and allow us to understand and build new knowledge in a way which is unprecedented. So the information revolution of the late 20th century predicts the science revolution of the 21st. The techniques of eResearch are quite new, but research itself isn't. History has shown that the research community is remarkably innovative, that it can quickly adapt to new contexts and new ways of working. This new paradigm certainly comes with its share of risks and challenges. It provokes and disrupts older ways of doing things. As governments and institutions build the infrastructure to support this new paradigm, so too the research community is building new relationships and new ways of publishing their research outcomes. The move toward providing scholarly research and the data from which it's derived into open access repositories is rapidly gaining pace as more research funding agencies make open accessibility of research outputs a requirement. This means that the overall impact of your research may be even more powerful than you initially imagined. We don't know exactly what the future of research will be, but we do know that it is changing rapidly. Now is the time to think and to plan.